Hey fans, let's talk about Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It has confused many, and when you read Colin's script and you realize the direction they were going and where they ended up, it's like Star Wars tried to take a safe route and they took a big hit. The merchandising didn't do, and now you're faced with another problematic situation due to the fact that now they're bringing back George Lucas to fix. So the story was destroyed from The Last Jedi, which they try to say The Last Jedi deviated so much from the script. It actually did not. The Last Jedi script was written while they did The Force Awakens from Solo. The box office, when it did 84 million in the first week, they panicked. They panicked. And when they saw that, they pulled back Colin's script, wanted him to rewrite it. He wouldn't rewrite it, so they fired him and brought in J.J. Abrams to take over running the ship. So they paid J.J. an insane amount of money just to come back to finish the story. So J.J. came back with his new vision of saying, well, let's just bring the Emperor back and make her the Emperor's daughter. Now, one thing for sure, who won't be back is Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is done with Star Wars. He didn't like what had happened with his character, and basically, his character was supposed to die after being tortured by Kylo Ren when he got captured. Poe Dameron wasn't supposed to be in the film as much as he was. They decided to keep him in the film, which was great because it built a rapport between Finn and Oscar Isaac. You had a storyline that was believable. They want to try to hint at the fact that one of the characters might be gay and they have a gay relationship. Why? Why? Why would you want to do that with two basically minority characters? Why would you want to do that? They knew if they did that, they would have lost a lot of their audience. Now, Ray, and the whole storyline was building up where Ray would end up with Poe Dameron. That's who she was going to end up dating. And that's why in the Collins script, you see them have a romantic fling. So when you train for this and you're practicing for this, she was never, ever going to be anything romantically linked or anything with Kylo Ren. That's just not what's going to happen. She would view him more as a brother than, you know, than a couple. That's like her and Finn. There was some attraction to Finn when she first met because she hadn't seen anything but desert dirt her entire life. And he's somebody that's been somewhere. So she had that usual female attraction early on to the guy. But now that she's seen her swingings, Now she can really make her choosing on what she like and what she don't like and what she liked. Decided Poe would be his Leia. Now this storyline is supposed to continue in anime, where the characters are. Daisy Ridley is supposed to reprise her role as Rey, as the voice of Rey during the Star Wars series. Back and play the role as Finn. And they're gonna have the so if John Boyega decides to do the voice work, which I think he's signed on and agreed to do, he'll do the voice acting with Daisy and everyone else. So I think now with all the work they put into this film, The Last Jedi, and making it what it was, it's a good movie. But for Star Wars, it's supposed to be something epic. And it just wasn't epic. I would say out of the three, it probably was the worst. It was definitely the worst out of the three. Now, and it had the Emperor in it. How could that happen? Rewrites and change of direction was dramatic. Because now, bringing in the Emperor, you just made Kylo Ren obsolete. Now, who is he? What's his story? What's his direction? Nothing. He's just back to being a minion. And it just makes no sense. Rey, what's her goal now was to stop Kylo Ren in the First Order. Now we got to stop the Emperor. Well, what about the First Order? Oh, they just out there. Nobody cares about them no more. Now it's about taking over the Emperor, who now has a fleet bigger than the First Order. So basically, the whole thing you started, you just wiped out by throwing the Emperor in it. The Emperor got all these ships. Now, what about the First Order? What are they going to do? They still got ships. They panicked and put something on the screen that they thought would just grab attention, and they went for fandom because fans love the Emperor. They said, we put the Emperor back, they'll forget how terrible this movie really is and everything else as far as the script and how much we've deviated from the original plan. If we just put the Emperor in it, the fans would go nuts. And they did. They went nuts. And then they saw the film and said, this is nuts as far as the plot. Now, I was entertained because I came to see the Emperor. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to see the Emperor, and I wanted to see the Emperor do his thing. And he didn't disappoint. The Emperor did his thing. He went in there and he lightsabered people up. Nope. He fried them using that electricity. Nah, they didn't ruin them. They got them just right. So the storyline will continue, and it will continue on the animated series with George Lucas being back with Jon Favreau working together. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. No, it just didn't make sense. A lot of it didn't make sense for the Emperor. When you have someone who's new writing for a character George is written for, a lot of things he said just wasn't making sense, you know? And when you get that far, that's what it just comes down to. Wasn't making a lot of sense. George Lucas is the only guy that could write for that guy. So if you're gonna bring the Emperor back, you're gonna have to get George Lucas in there. Now that George is back, this battle is going to become something more epic to where George wanted to do when he first started Star Wars. And he's going to bring in the Wilts, who are the people who are really the Force is. The Force is really the Wilts. They control people through the Force. So he wants to go through the journey of the Wilts. And I think that's where the new direction is headed.
Could have made with episode 9 if they.
And another thing for the fan theories. Um, Another fan believes that since she did kill the Emperor's spirit is going to go inside her body now and take over. So they said, wow, didn't the Emperor jump in? Thanks, Smash. Did I think it would be top notch? I was hoping for it, but when I tell you, I had my reservations because bringing in the Emperor is like, whoa, that's a huge jump. But I'm like, all right, I'm ready to see it because this should be something epic. What really let me down more than anything is the actual lightsaber duels. The lightsaber duels was just like angry people swinging sticks. There was no choreography to it. When you watched when you watched the older Star Wars films, they look like real Jedi's with lightsabers. Kylo Ren never looked like a swordsman to me at no time in this film. It didn't look like he was talented at all with the blade. And whoever fought the other person, one person was swinging angry, the other one was just calmly blocking. So there was no real lightsaber duel. In The Force Awakens, you could forgive it because she doesn't even know what she's doing with the lightsaber. No, I didn't understand a lot of the decision making in that process. Then for 3 movies straight, he just run around and start screaming Ray. That was just his whole thing. They didn't know what to do with his character anymore. Just run real hard and scream Ray. Ray! Ray! I'd be like, why are you screaming? She's fighting Kylo Ren. I mean, you can't fight him. Mm-mm-mm. Alex, they made Snoke a puppet of Palpatine because they didn't know any other way to go. Snoke was never supposed to be made by Palpatine. That change of direction was a panic move again. Snoke was also a person in the dark side who crept and hid out where they went to. That's where Snoke is from. He hid over there, and once the Emperor died, then he made his presence from there and came out from there and brought the First Order. So what they did was take the backstory of Snoke and give it to the Emperor. That's how the First Order was formed. When all the ships came up out of the ground, and he sought out Kylo Ren. They ruined all of this because what was supposed to happen if there was going to be a backstory of Snoke, and it was going to be a significant telling of his story within another story, Star Wars story, where they go back and do a prequel, and they were going to show the story of Snoke. They were going to do it like they did the Emperor. They were like, "Look, you didn't know anything about the Emperor until you saw the prequels. All you knew about the Emperor was what you saw basically in the climactic scene of The Last Jedi. You didn't see him. You didn't see the Emperor, so you didn't know anything about him. But when the prequels came out, you got to see his basically whole story and see how it played out. So just give it time and you'll find out where Snoke is from and such and such. And then Snoke's history was never meant to be some clone. Now back to this fake theory that they saying Rey is still the Emperor, and that they saying that the Emperor made her believe that the Jedi was with her to make her stand up and take him down. Yeah, he made those voices in her head. That was all Snoke. I mean, that was all the Emperor putting the voices in her head, making her believe all the Jedi was with her, so she could feel energized to get up to challenge him. And they believe now that's a possibility because remember, she needed him. I'm like, that was the first plan. What you missed is that the plan was deviated once he found out there was a dyad force, and he was able to restore himself. Now he don't need her to kill him. He like, forget that. I'm back. I'm back. Forget plan A. We on plan B. You die, I live. So no. And the rewrite they put in was having Kylo Ren comes back and bring Rey back to life and all of these that different thing. That just made no sense. Because people were upset that they just threw Kylo Ren off a cliff and he was gone out the rest of the movie. And it was like, that was the dumbest ending. Who came up with this? How did this get approved? They just made him for nothing. So now they redid it to make it look like, okay, Leia finally fades away once Kylo fades. And they both go away. The reason why they both had to go away is because in the rest of the story, Kylo doesn't exist or doesn't fit in it. So they wanted to give him a hero. I'm like, him coming back to save her was the hero's exit. The best scene is when he gets to talk to his father. That was the best scene in the movie. And they brought back Harrison Ford for that one scene he gets to talk to Kylo Ren. And it's a conversation of a memory he has with his father. That was a really good scene. Probably the best scene in the movie. And I mean, the way the Emperor was talking, they changed so many lines on what he was going to say. And they just, when you have other people writing for a character, it's just not the same. So, you're no match for the power in me. I'm like, that's not what the Emperor would say. I was finishing that line before he did because I knew what the Emperor would say. You're no match for the power of the dark side. You're supposed to say the dark side. That just sounded dumb. It made the whole line weak. It ruined it when he just said, "You're no match for power in me." In me. I'm like, he never does that. It's all about the dark side. Oh no, Tone Loc, man, that's a crazy human being. Loc is something else. Yeah, Loc is something else. He's funny. Yeah, dude, I slept so long, man. I gotta probably learn how to walk again. As long as I slept, I'm looking up like, that's what time it is. I need to get on the move. So I need to get on the move.